This video is going to address the Invoices collection of screens on the Purchasing and Accounts Payable menu. I want to move through each of the screens in order here, all 5 of them, and start with the invoice summary. The invoice summary is in essence a list of the invoices in a report type format, showing the header information for the invoice, and then if you scroll across, a little bit of information for each line item of that invoice, including its accounting distribution and line amount. Not a lot to this. Basically, it's just a list. You can come here and find certain things or find groupings of invoices to a vendor. Several ways you might use this to get information that you're looking for, but this is not an everyday screen. However, if I come down, and I'm going to pick this one since this invoice has multiple lines, and drill to the invoice master record by clicking on it. And I could also drill to the PO master behind it, to the vendor master, to the check master, or to the bank account that the invoice was on from here. But going to the invoice master, which is the second screen on the menu, we see a summary of that invoice. Some detail, some summary at the top, vendor information, the purchase orders that preceded the invoice. So in this case, this Walmart had a purchase order associated with it, and we could drill to that by clicking on this. We also see the accounting distribution for this invoice. It was split several different ways. It looks to me like it's split across locations pretty evenly. And again, you could drill back to the vendor or to the account code history by clicking here. Also, this invoice was paid with this check number at this particular bank account. And you could again click on these to drill to those items. And lastly, the summary of the GL activity that has actually been posted, as you see at the bottom, whether they're general activity or accrual transactions when they exist. So this gives you a summary of, generally speaking, everything we know about the invoice, and then the ability to drill to all the other documents or the other accounting objects that are related to it. Go back to the menu and keep moving across the page. We're going to look at the invoice statistics, which just generally gives you the statistics about invoices. If we were to look at, say, a breakdown by location, we would see each fiscal year. You could look at one fiscal year at a time if you wanted to, but each fiscal year and a breakdown of invoices by location, which is what we asked for, or a breakdown of invoices by status. So this will let you come and see several pieces of information that if you need to look at it, you'll probably come here and see it. Otherwise, this is not an everyday screen. Back to the Purchasing and Accounts Payable. Invoice payment timelines. Now I'm going to click on this screen, even though I do not expect very many, in fact, no more than 1 or 2 of SysImpulse users to be using this. This screen is to track your payment timelines. In other words, how long does it take you to pay an invoice that you receive? However, it's only going to work if you key in invoices every day as you receive them, and key in the original invoice date from the vendor. So if you don't do that, then you're going to get skewed results from this, and 99% of the districts that are using this are getting skewed results here. So this screen is not usable. Don't use this screen unless you are keying in your invoices properly to support it. Back to the purchasing menu and looking at the last screen here, and this screen is going to be interesting, I think. It's going to default to invoice count. So when you come here, it's going to show you the number of invoices processed by each of your users and for the district as a whole for each month of the current and prior to fiscal year. So you can see your flow, your workflow here, both by district and by employee. You also see a breakdown of the invoices that are keyed in by accounts payable and those invoices that were generated by payroll. Also, a feature here that you can use is to look at this by alpha. Now, if you look at it by alpha, what it's simply going to do is break down your invoice volume based on the first letter of the vendor's name. By doing that, you're going to see in each month the volume that you had there. And I know that many districts split their workload to key in invoices by A through M for one user and N through Z for another. This allows you to look at your actual flow so that you can see where your breakpoint is between the various vendors alpha-wise, so that you can assign those fairly to users rather than have one user get more than the other. And this was a request by at least one district to do this. So with that, we have covered this particular section of purchasing and AP invoices. If you have any questions, please contact us, and thank you very much.